at. While the crew is working on all those activities, you see there is some robotics work taking place right now. This is being commanded by the ground team here in Houston. It is an important day for the team here in Houston as well as the Canadian Space Agency, as the Dexter Special Purpose Dexterous Manipulator is put to use for the first time this week in earnest. Dexter is going to be used this week to replace a Remote Power Controller Module, or RPCM as it is more commonly known. This is a power router on the outside of the station. There are dozens of these. There's 72 RPCMs externally. There are 85 inside the station for a total of 157 RPCMs. There is one on the P1 truss, and that is the port truss on the left side of the station that failed several months ago. That RPCM actually controls some redundant systems such as camera lights and heaters. There is a spare RPCM on the P3 truss, that is the truss section basically right next door, that Dexter is going to go out and grab onto, and will replace this failed RPCM, basically doing just a swap of the failed one for the spare one. That activity will actually take place tomorrow. Today is a dry run of sorts where Dexter is going to be used to reach out, grab onto this failed RPCM, withdraw it about 6 inches to make sure that all the systems are working according to plan. Dexter will then reinsert that RPCM back into what is known as a soft dock, basically just latching it back down into its holster. And then tomorrow we'll see the actual replacement of this. You're seeing an animation here from the Canadian Space Agency of how this RPCM will be withdrawn from its carriage using one of Dexter's arms. It'll be withdrawn a bit. Dexter will then be moved around and rotated around to where it will be able to grab onto this spare part. These RPCMs are easily handled by Dexter. They're about 9.5 pounds. Their measurement is about 9 inches wide by 7 inches deep by 3.5 inches tall. Dexter can actually use either one of its very long arms to reach out and grab onto these parts on the outside of the station. Dexter measures about 12 feet tall. Its width across its shoulders is 7.7 feet. Each arm is 11 feet wide, so it gives Dexter a total reach of almost 30 feet, which is almost 3 stories. This particular component of the International Space Station was launched back on STS-123. It was the third and final part of the robotics operations outside the station. That includes the mobile base structure that Dexter is actually currently based on top of, as well as the giant Canadarm2, otherwise known as the station's robotic arm. So that is a look at exactly what's going to be going on this week outside the station. There you see a live view of Dexter outside. It is currently attached to the robotic arm, which the robotic arm itself is actually based on that mobile base structure. So today's dry run is continuing with the ground team here controlling things. The crew on board the station is getting regular updates and monitoring the progress, but everything right now being steered from the ground team here in Houston. The station itself right now out over the Atlantic Ocean. It's on the most northern part of its orbit, about to begin a southeastern swing across parts of Europe and on down toward the Middle East. While all of this robotic operation is in work and the crew is working through their daily activities, they actually have several different crew Earth observation targets today. These are chances for the crew members to take some photos of ground objects down below on Earth, different cities and different man-made and natural objects. Today's targets include the Tashka Lakes in Egypt. These lakes were formed back in the 1990s when there was record high water in the Nile River, and it overflew its banks, and Lake Nasser spilled out into the desert depressions to the west of it. These lakes have been around since then, almost 20 years, but they've been slowly drying up since then. So every time that the station crew members on the various expeditions on board fly overhead and have a chance to document how those lakes are progressing, they do that. The crew is also going to be passing over Baghdad, Iraq. They will have a chance to get some photos of the city below. They'll also be heading over St. Paul Rocks near Brazil. This is one of the HMS Beagle sites that Charles Darwin visited back in the 1800s. The crew will also be passing over Algiers, Algeria. This city is of note because there's quite a number of white buildings in that city that are actually visible from space. It gives that city the nickname of Algiers the White, so they will be taking photos of that. Over North America, they will be passing over Mount Hood, Oregon, as well as the Coast Mountains over British Columbia, Canada, there on the western side of Canada. If you would like to take a look at any of these photos or to see what your hometown looks like from space, you can log on to the NASA website at nasa.gov. You can also visit earthobservatory.nasa.gov to take a look at any of the images that the Expedition 24 crew members have gathered, or any of the other previous expeditions.